Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the Burt and Burger podcast. I am so happy that all of you guys are here today because we have an exciting episode today for you guys. We pin some of the most popular TV shows of all time, Survivor versus Tiger King, and we dump right into it. Dump into it like we take a shit on it, I guess, but it's pretty sad
Probably
that
a little bit of that's gonna be going on.
yeah. Tiger King is already like at the same level as Survivor already, so that's saying something. But we are so happy that you guys are here today. We are here with me, as always, the Burt to my burger. Burt, how's it going?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Now,
Yeah.
now, if you guys tuned into last week's episode, we talked about how Burt was going to go and watch an episode or a season of Survivor. And Burt's like, fuck, I only had to watch an episode.
Yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah. Last week we said that if Burt watches a season of Survivor, then I will watch the entire show of Tiger King, which is something I had absolutely no interest in watching. But since Burt told me he'd watch Survivor, I decided to jump right into it and watch Tiger King. So I literally just finished Tiger King like less than an hour before this recording.
Yeah, I just finished Survivor too.
Yeah. So we are very what is that, procrastinators or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah.
Waited to the last minute to watch your show. So I think that's what most of this episode is going to be about, because I know Burt really liked Tiger King, and he probably has some strong points on it, and I love Survivor, so we should have lots to talk about here. So it's kind of, they're both reality shows. One's more a documentary, and the other one's more of a game show, I guess. So they have their similarities and their differences, but I'm super excited to talk about it today. So, Burt, which one do you think we should start with first?
I don't know. I think we can probably talk a little bit more about Survivor, so we might want to start off with Tiger King.
Okay,
What do you
cool.
think?
I can do that. Not a problem. Let me
Cool.
scroll down to my notes. So, do you want me to start us off, as I'm sure you're dying to hear my opinion on this show?
Oh yeah, yeah. You can do like some first, your first thoughts on it or whatever, and then maybe I can ask you some questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and I do have a lot of ideas on it. So,
Okay.
and I was thinking about this. It's exciting to talk about a TV show that's actually relevant in today's culture. And it's not like The Walking Dead or The Breaking Bad or
Breaking Bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're actually talking about something that's prevalent for once. So that's awesome. So, I watched Tiger King. And it was something else.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a pretty. There was a lot of stuff in there that I was not expecting to see in this TV show. So, I guess I'll just dive right into it. From beginning to end, this show was completely fucking different. It did not stick to its roots whatsoever. It completely
Nope.
changed 110%, because it started out really good and then it ended just completely different than where it was. But then I realized when I was watching the final episode of Tiger King that that one of the guys summed it up really nicely. So by saying, like, it started off with these two big zoos, I guess, I don't know, fighting about
Yeah.
whether you should have tigers in cages and if they should be petted and things like that. And then it just evolved from their egos and making it all about themselves and not so much about the animals anymore. So that was one of the biggest complaints that I had about Tiger King. But then I realized that was the whole point of the story, was to show how these people that started out so passionate about these animals, and when the fame and the money and the rivalry just kind of got in their heads and
Overtook them.
really
Yeah.
took over everything, kind of like Walter White. So there goes Breaking
Oh,
Bad
yeah.
again. So
Yep.
we're trying to get Bryan Cranston on the show, so
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I mean, I guess we should have said this a while ago. Spoiler alert for Tiger King and season 19 of Survivor. But
Yep.
Tiger King's more of a documentary, and Survivor, this is an old season, so I don't really think
Yeah,
there's
we
going to
should
be
be fine.
too big spoilers. But yeah, we're going to completely dive into both Tiger King and Survivor. So I'm not doing a non-critical eye review on either of these because, there's spoilers in it. Daddy don't do no spoilers. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was my initial thought of it. But then I'm really glad that one guy that was like in charge of Joey Exotic's campaign said that at the end.
Oh, yes. That guy he was a good little wrap up.
Yeah, he's just saying that it
The
changed.
one sane person.
Yeah, he was just saying like, it changed so much, and I'm glad that he said that because that was my biggest complaint about the show was how much it changed. But then I realized that's the whole fucking point of the whole thing. So yeah, it ended pretty nicely there. But yeah, episode 1 was really good. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't get enough of it. I thought it was so good and it was so interesting, and you just saw so much drama between the two big private-owned zoos in Tampa there. And just seeing the drama of owning big cats and the fucking rivalry between Joey Exotic and Carol Baskins.
Yes.
And it was really interesting there. And then I absolutely hated episode 2. I wanted to quit. I didn't want to watch Tiger King anymore. It was gross.
No way.
My grandma completely gave up on it. She's like, yeah, I'm done with this show.
Yeah.
It got very, very personal in episode 2, and I didn't like that at all. I wasn't a big fan of that. So episode 2 is when they really talked about Joey Exotic's 2 different husbands, and they talked about Doc's 8 different wives and all of that shit. And I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on here? This is not anything to do with tigers or zoos or anything like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that. And I didn't know this before watching the show. Joey Exotic is gayer than a motherfucker. He is gay.
Oh, yeah.
He is gay as hell.
Poster child.
Yeah, and then his husband has tattoos and pierced nipples and 3 teeth. Yep, when I saw memes of him, I did not realize he was gayer than hell, too. Last thing I would have expected was for them to be gay. And then, Joey goes to the guy and he's like, are you okay if Travis, this guy here, if he joins in on our marriage? And he's like, oh, I don't care if I share Joe. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What the hell? What happened to tigers? The hell's up with this shit? I mean, first and foremost, I don't give a fuck if someone's gay. I could literally care less. I just was not the biggest fan of them diving into it. Even if they were straight and it was a man and a woman, and if they just dove into the relationship, I would think that was annoying and boring too. So it has nothing to do with they're gay. I fucking could care less about it. But even like with Doc and his 8 wives, I mean, that's a very straight relationship between him and a female, and I just thought that was fucking stupid too. So I'm not some fucking homophobe like Joey Exotic's business partner. But I did not like how much they dove into their personal life like that. And that's ultimately why my grandma gave up on it. She's like, nope, don't want to watch that gay shit. She's old school, though, so you can't really blame them then. But yeah, and then just the polygamy and all of this with Doc's many wives, that's just fucked up. That's more fucked up than anything, I feel like.
The whole show.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, the whole show's fucking, drama and shit like that. But this
Yeah.
dude's brainwashing young girls just so they can have sex with them and things like that. And I just think that's so fucked up. And Doc tries to say that it ain't no cult and they can leave with it. Fuck off, dude. Gosh, I hated that guy so much. No one talks about him. They're always talking about Carol Baskins and fucking Joey Exotic. Fuck Doc. That dude is a cunt. He's a fucking know-it-all, brainwashing piece of shit, taking advantage of people.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You could tell, like, he was trying really hard to sound smart, but he had some real... I don't know. Overall, I think he's pretty fucking dumb.
Yeah, he's stupid as hell. I don't like the guy, and he's just taking advantage of all of those women and stuff like that. Well, they could leave whenever they want. Well, yeah, that's what all cults say, you piece of shit. So
Yeah, and then they had that one girl from the inside or whatever.
Yeah.
Remember? And then she ended up breaking out and then went through that whole story.
yeah, and she's like, yeah, and he basically said you can be enlightened to his position by touching his penis. And I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
off. What makes this guy better than anybody else? Seriously.
The divining rod knows all.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I hated that. That just really was irking me and everything. And it turns out Joey Exotic's in the same thing, but with men. And I'm like, holy fucking shit.
Oh, yeah.
God damn. Like, when I saw... I just... Them being gay was the last thing I expected. But
No.
that was kind of where it was. I'm going to just run through it real quick, and then we can have a conversation on it, so you can bring up points that I say if you want at the end here. But episode 3 was very thick with material. It was very hard to follow, which was also the point. That was when we started talking about Carol Baskin and the disappearance of her husband.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there was lots of shit going on there, and I thought that was a pretty thick episode, but I think that was the point, just to show how complicated and convoluted it was. I think that would be a great talking point, too, that we can talk about, is if she actually ended up murdering her husband. We can get back to that in a minute.
Yeah.
And then, yesterday I watched 4 fucking episodes, sat down and just powered through a shit ton. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, I finished the last episode before this podcast, so it just really unraveled into a lot of different things. I can't remember what his business partner's name was. It was like Jeff or something like that, I think.
Oh, Jeff Lowe, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy was a fucking scumbag.
Yeah, you have all of these guys coming in, and you're like, oh, okay, you think they're going to be minor characters, and then they turn out to be fucking the big villains and stuff like that. Like that one funny-looking guy, the big guy with that own like strip clubs and shit like that. And
Garrettson something.
Yeah, the guy that went undercover for the FBI.
Oh, yeah, he's like, yeah, these guys are fucking crazy. I'm getting out while I still can.
Yeah, and he ended up being a fucking scumbag, too, and...
Oh, yeah.
And then that one bald guy that apparently Joey fucking paid to kill Carol. Yeah, he ended up being a big guy, and it's just like, holy shit, all these characters that you don't think are going to make a difference, and they ended up being huge-ass characters, so just a lot unraveled there, and, at the end, I didn't know who to like anymore. I didn't fucking know. I had no idea, it's just like, I really like Joe Exotic, and... Then he ended up being a really big piece of shit and narcissist and everything like that. And, you thought that the whatever his fucking name is, the guy that went undercover, you thought he was going to be a good guy, but, he ended up doing some shady shit too. And I fucking can't stand Carol Baskin's eyeballs. So
those
fuckers are huge, dude.
They're concerning.
Yeah, it's funny because they showed younger pictures of her when she was younger, and boy, she looked like a smoke show on some of them, and then other ones, she looked like she got her fucking head ran over.
Yeah, I know.
Holy shit! It's like, why would you let them show that on TV?
Yeah.
Um, and at the end, it's just like I don't know who to like. At the end, I think everybody is to blame. I think everybody is at fault to something. Everybody is very narcissistic, and there's a big cult feeling amongst all three of the big people between Joe, Carol, and
Oh, yeah.
Doc, especially Doc. And
Yeah.
I don't really know who to root for anymore. But I do have some more things that I want to talk about. But I would definitely like to hear your thoughts on the show and
Loop around.
see
Yeah.
what you have to say about it.
Okay. Yeah, we doing that now? Are you just getting some water?
Yeah, I was sucking down some ice cold water, getting ready to roast your ass for some of the stupid fucking points you're about to bring up because of how nice you are.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was actually going to ask you who your favorite cult leader was. Out of the little trio, you know.
Gosh, I don't know. Let me think about that. Tell me your thoughts on the show, and I'll think of the answer.
I don't know, cause like I don't know. After taking freshman psychology, I think I got this all figured out.
Oh, okay. Freshman
It's just
psychology in college or high school or
Yeah, just college is a little prereq, whatever.
okay.
But like, oh my god, it's so funny. It's like something bad had to have happened to each of these people to say, you know what? I think I want to be a Tiger Kingpin.
Yeah.
You know, Tiger King, whatever the fuck it may be. But it's like, a part of me feels bad, for each of them. Because, like, you can tell, like, they even talk about it at the end. They're like, each of them started out with the good intentions. But then just they ended up getting absorbed in their own egos and the power of owning the tigers and all that, and it just ended up consuming them.
Yeah, no, I mean we know Carol had some shit happen to her in the past, and I'm guessing Joey probably did too. But I think Doc is just a straight up cunt.
He's just like, he's so socially awkward.
Yeah,
Right? He's like, I don't even know.
That's a fucking psychopath for you, dude. Or
yeah,
sociopath.
and then they even they talk about it. He's like, yeah, once they get so old, he didn't say it, but they speculate that he just kills his tigers once they get like unruly and aren't worth money to him.
Yeah, just flats out says that pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. It was sad hearing old Joey go to jail at the end, but he definitely had it coming. I think now what I was really excited for, right? I thought that for his trial, that he was going to end up turning it all around onto that Jeff Lowe guy, his little business partner or whatever.
Yep.
I was fucking waiting for it. But then, he obviously isn't. I don't know. I don't know if he was smart enough to really try and pull a 180 on the jury or whatever, but
yeah, I think all of them are really smart people when it comes to this shit. I think
in like a weird, in a really weird way they are.
Yeah, they know what the fuck they're doing, kind of. and all of this shit. They're very smart people. It's just their ego gets in the way of everything for everybody here. They just have huge personalities, and they display it very differently to the public. So, it's just. I don't know. I mean, going back to your question, I mean, I really like Joe Exotic, but there's a lot of things that I don't like about him. But I also think a lot of Joey Exotic is show business. Like, I saw some videos that weren't on the show of Jeff Lowe screaming and yelling at Joe, and the way Joe was handling it was like really like I was pretty impressed with it. Like, and I felt really bad for him because Jeff was attacking Joe's sexuality and making fun of
Oh
his
wow.
husband and stuff like that, and calling him a dick sucker and things like that. And I mean, as far as calling people a cocksucker and a faggot and all that shit, like I don't really fucking care if people do that, if it's just for joking around and fun and games. But this Jeff guy was
Yeah.
trying to hurt Joey with those words, and I think that's when it gets out of hand. And just the way Joe was handling all it was the scene where, do you remember where Jeff was really screaming at Joe in the office, and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
like secretly recorded. It was
Yeah.
it was like that, and Joe was like he was like so scared. He's like, what did I do wrong? Like, Jeff, I can fix this. I can fix, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, I think that's really like Joe's true colors is acting like that. I think all of this stupid shit on standing on top of a limo and handing candy out to people and fucking
Oh yeah. Yeah.
dressed up like a fucking like a pimp or something
Rootin'
like
tootin'
that.
cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it is like you see a lot of pride come out where like, this is my way of living and this is my life and I'm gonna do whatever I want, and you just kind of get pride getting in the way there. So I think deep down, Joe is a good person. I think a lot of it is show business coming out of him. So
Oh yeah, yeah, and also like when the cameras are around, he has to just be playing it up.
yeah, yeah.
Cranking it to 11.
And seeing how he acts when he doesn't know he's being recorded is probably why I would say he's my favorite. But the dude's a dickhead too. He's like, they don't come here to see the tigers, they come here to see me. And I'm like, "Kay, don't like that."
Okay.
That's why I would go to the fucking zoo, is to see him. But now that he knows that, it's like, fuck you, dude. I don't fucking, fuck off and everything. And then there's those gay ass, I guess I can't really say gay in this when describing
Take
this
it
guy.
literally, but yeah.
Yeah, no. Usually when I say gay, I just throw it out there. I don't think it works here. There's these stupid ass music videos. Holy shit,
Oh
I
my
fucking hated
Lord.
those. I don't think that's Joe singing. That don't sound like Joe whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Unless we also think that maybe like his voice, he's playing that. No, he can't be. Because when he gets emotional, he's still
doing
talks
it.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But I mean,
I don't fucking know. I don't think that's Joe singing. I think he's lip singing because he sang at
it's
Travis's
definitely
funeral.
auto-tuned. Yeah,
He sounded like Joe Exotic then.
yeah. No, it's probably doctored up quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just thinking that he's above the law and he can get away with everything. I don't like those kind of attitudes with people. And then when he was at fucking Travis's funeral speaking, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd be having a bad day," and he'd just come up and he'd put your balls on your face. And they were like gold nuggets to that boy. I'm like, Joe, I don't really think you should be saying that at a funeral, my dude. Like,
No,
like you're
that's
just,
so awesome.
yeah. And then he just starts singing some rootin' tootin' cowboy song, and everyone's clapping along and shit like that. And I'm like, oh,
His mom's sitting there crying.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah. I just, damn. Fucking A, like, you gotta be a huge narcissist to do that kind of shit and everything. And
Oh,
and
yeah.
then he gets married to that other kid, and he brings Travis's mom out there. Nobody else.
That was so fucked.
She thought it was gonna be a big wedding. She's the only one there.
Yeah, that was fucked.
So yeah. I think out of all of them, it would be more Joe Exotic, but I definitely see a lot of flaws with him. Old Tater thought that he could see me being Doc coming to the party on a fucking elephant and the 7 wives and all that shit. And I'm like, well, you see, I would do the elephant thing, and I'd like to take 7 women on at one time. But, after that, I just want one of them to stay and the rest go home. you know?
Yeah.
There's a difference between relationships and fucking that many women. So yeah. No, I thought Doc started out really cool. And then I was like, holy shit, this guy's like Jim Jones. Next, he's going to tell him to drink fucking Kool-Aid.
Exactly.
God damn.
Yeah.
So what else do you think of it?
It was intense. I don't know. I mean, I was thinking the whole. It's kind of back on what we were just talking about, but like Carol.
Yeah.
The whole time she was like fighting for PETA and all this, and then she ends up. She's just as bad as the others.
Yeah, she's a huge hypocrite. Huge hypocrite.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, they're all still in cages. She still has people in. And then that whole, like, there's technically no employees. They're all volunteers.
Yeah,
so she's running the fucking thing.
That was my big thing. Like
for free.
Like, I was sitting there, and she's like, yeah, they shouldn't be in cages and shit like that. And I'm sitting there looking at her tigers in cages, and I'm like, all right, Carol, I think I'm losing something in translation here. Like, this ain't making sense to me. Like, what the hell's going on here? Like, I don't fucking get it. And she trades and sells tigers and stuff like that too, and everything. Like, she's a huge hypocrite and everything. And I hate her eyes. I can't stand that. Like, they like bug out of her head. God.
Yeah,
damn.
they kind of make you uneasy.
Yeah, she's looking at you specifically. She ain't looking at the camera.
No.
Yeah,
No, it's scary.
That really pissed me off. What do you think, though? Do you think she killed her husband?
Yeah, I definitely think it's possible. I mean, if he had any sort of balls, I mean, her current simp-ass fucking husband, that guy's such a fucking cuck.
He was singing to her at the end there, and I'm like,
yes.
What the fuck is this?
So lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that guy, he definitely reminds me of the kind of character. I don't know if you ever watched Shameless.
Mm-mm.
But
my mom and my sister and my grandma do, so maybe you can come over and watch it with them. You fucking, I want to say faggot again, but that don't work right now.
No, it's a good show. No, I bring it up because there's a guy who gets in a relationship, the older grandpa or whatever, who the girlfriend ends up putting plastic wieners up his butt. And it kind of reminds me of Carol's husband.
Yeah, it sounds like you stumbled across one of your homemade videos.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there are so many avenues this could have. I could tell you one thing.
Oh, yeah.
This fucking guy didn't just get up and disappear. Like
No.
Carol says he did. That didn't fucking happen. Especially now that this show's out and we still haven't heard from him. Like, you would think this guy would show up eventually. Plus, Carol got all his fucking money. So
yeah,
if he did get up and just disappear, he would have came back.
He would need to bring something with him.
Yeah, and everything. So I definitely think he was murdered, and nobody else really, from what I understand, had a reason to kill him at that point in time besides Carol. So
yeah.
I think it's a bit dramatic to say that she fed him to the fucking tigers, or put him in the sewage tank or whatever they said.
Yeah,
those might be a little dramatic because the one lawyer guy said that if she did kill him and feed him to the tigers, I mean, there would have to be evidence for that. There's no way Carol could have been squeaky clean with that and not get blood somewhere or something, putting them through the meat grinder and shit like that. So
yeah,
I think that's a bit extreme, but they probably just did a more traditional method of killing him and disposing of the body in a different way, I guess. I don't know, but that's kind of what my thoughts were on it.
Yeah, something shady was definitely. I mean, yeah, having a big cat sanctuary, whatever the fuck she's calling it, is definitely. It's like it'd be so easy,
Mm-hmm.
It's just where all logic points.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one who gains everything from it and all that.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me, like, how they were talking about how she might have put him in the tank or something below a building. or
Yeah.
or some well or something. I don't fucking remember. I mean, that's exactly what happened in The Ring. Remember that movie? And
Oh yeah.
uh, yeah, they threw some girl in a well and built like a house on top of it. And then also, my brother and I watched a Stephen King movie called 1922, where he put his wife in a well, and then he made a cow walk on top of the well, like he put a board over the well and put the cow on the
Oh.
board, and so the cow broke through the well
Oh
and
Jesus.
landed. So then he had a reason to bury the well because the cow
Okay.
got stuck down there and they couldn't get it out.
Yeah, and fuck all the water up and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, this was an abandoned well, actually. Forgot to
Oh.
mention that.
Okay.
Yeah. So he put his wife down there, and then he put the cow down there, and then that was his reason for burying the well, was to hide the cow. So
Oh.
then I go to fucking Tiger King and see this. So it kind of makes me kind of concerned. Maybe I should stay the fuck away from wells or something. I don't really
Yeah,
know.
I know.
Daddy's getting a little scared here. So
Yeah.
yeah. What else did you think about the show? I've talked a lot about what I think of it.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but it definitely takes like a lot of weird twists and turns. And in the first few episodes or whatever, it's they're very straightforward, getting to the point of here's some background on all your local cult leaders, your Tiger Kings, your Doc Annals, whatever, and they end up getting busted by the fucking FBI
Yeah.
and all that.
I love how all of this started with Joey going to jail, like the last couple of episodes. It all started because that Jeff Lowe guy was pissed off at Joe for taking money for his campaign.
Yeah.
It all started because Jeff Lowe was being a petty bitch, and he texted fucking Carol Baskins saying, hey, I have information on Joe. Pick up if you want to talk. And then Carol and her husband immediately forwarded that to the FBI, and that's how it all started. That it all started at the end there because that's how it all began, was because they wanted to be petty bitches and like, Carol, if you want his ass, here, I'm giving you permission. Here's evidence. And they're like, okay, we're gonna give this to the police. We're not exotic. We're not gonna go fucking try to kill him. Here, the police can handle this. And that's when all the investigation started. Was right then and there. Was because Jeff Lowe was like, yeah, remember they met up at an Applebee's they were talking about.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, all right, well, let's talk to Carol, and she can turn his ass in. And then Carol didn't turn his ass in. She was like, no, okay, this is fucking weird. We're just gonna report your text message to the fucking FBI. And then that's how everything went down from there. So if Joe never tried to run for governor or something like that, or president of the United States, this would be a completely different story. Because that is what made the FBI initiate that. You know what? These threats to actually kill Carol, they might be a bit more serious. So
Yeah, and even how they said they like just compounded charge after charge, to make it impossible to let Joe, escape prison. Like, he was fucked.
Yeah, because they didn't think they could really send him away just on the attempt to murder her, because they just didn't really have enough evidence to do so. So that's when they started really reaching and digging for all these animal abuse charges and things like that. So that kind of leads me to one of my last points here, is what do you think is going to happen to old Joe Exotic? What's going to happen to the Tiger King? Because if you go on
At the end there.
if you go on Joe Exotic's Twitter, like, there's all these things about Free Joe and everything like that, and like they're trying to really reduce his sentence from 20 years
Yeah.
Yeah, so his Twitter just they keep saying things like free Joe and everything like that. And he got fucked over and he needs to get out of jail. So I know at the end they acted like that was the final conclusion, that he's sentenced for 20 years. But they also
Okay.
kept
Yeah.
saying that it's far from over, so he might get out a lot earlier than that. So I don't
Yeah,
know. What do you
because
think's going to happen with all of this?
well, I thought at the end what they ended up saying was that he was going to talk to PETA or whatever, right? And
Hmm.
he was going to try and get them to help him out of jail.
Yeah, yeah, because he
Yeah.
had a lot of dirt on everybody, and it ended like with Doc's zoo getting raided and shit like that.
Yeah.
For the euthanization of tiger cubs and stuff like that. So, that's another thing. It's just like, all right, I'm gonna tattle on everybody now. That was another thing that I thought was funny. And then I also wondered if Joe could get in more trouble because he had this evidence of crimes happening, but he didn't report anything.
Oh, yeah, because then you're like an accomplice or whatever.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
a good point. Or whatever it is, technically, yeah.
yeah. I definitely don't think he's going to be in there for 20 years. I think he's going to get out a lot earlier before
Yeah,
that happens.
it's definitely possible.
And people are bitching that there's three felons out there that are just walking with all of us while Joe sits in prison and rots there.
Oh, yeah. No, it's kind of fucked up. But I don't know if he was dumb enough to. I mean, all the choices he made inevitably led him to prison. But
Yeah, he definitely needs to be, punished for what he did. You know, because he did do illegal shit. I don't think it should be
oh yeah,
20 years, but I don't think Joe really did any. Oh boy, I gotta be careful what I say here. From what I understood, the five tigers that they found in his on his property, the tiger bones, he
yeah,
euthanized them. Is what
yeah.
I
He said they
understood.
were. He said they were sick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I really do think that's what happened.
yeah.
Uh,
And also, if you think about it, if he has like 270 something tigers on the property,
mhm.
he would have way more dead tigers if there was an ulterior motive, right?
Yeah, if he was
Like
like Doc.
5 out of 270 is that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like you can,
yeah,
yeah,
and
that's like a reasonable amount to get sick.
yeah, exactly, and even more. I feel like more could even get sick from
Oh yeah,
that. So,
oh yeah,
and
especially the way they're feeding them out of fucking like leftover Walmart meat. That shit
yeah,
was sick.
that's gross. And they were
Yeah,
using the meat to make their pizzas and shit too.
it was so fucked.
Um,
Yeah,
and then, I think he should be punished if it is illegal to trade and sell cubs or whatever. He should be punished for that, and he should be, if it is appropriate for him to get punished for, um, trying to kill Carol Baskin too. But it sounds like Jeff Lowe had a bigger part in that as well. But
I know.
that's kind of how I view the whole thing. Is Joey should maybe face a couple years in jail or something like that and be on his way. I definitely think a lot more people should be punished
Oh yeah,
as well.
basically everybody in the show.
Yeah, it really sounds like that
Yeah.
Jeff Lowe guy is the one that was behind all of the big, like he's the guy that should be facing the most shit. Yeah.
Oh, the big schemes.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and kind of wrapping things up about Tiger King. One thing I did wonder is there was that one producer that was in charge of the Joe Exotic TV
Yeah.
show or internet series, and then he was also in charge of a reality show that everything was burned up in a
Yeah, and the like alligator shack or whatever the fuck it was.
yep.
Yeah.
At first, I thought he was in charge of the Netflix show,
Yeah, so did I.
but then all his shit got burned up. So who the fuck made the Netflix show? Is my question.
Yeah. No, that's a great question.
That is my
Yeah,
question because
he almost disappeared like halfway through. Like he just wasn't in 2 or 3 episodes, and then he came back at the end.
yeah, that's my big thing. It's just like, what the fuck is up with this Netflix? Because these Netflix people, they go deep. They
Oh,
got
yeah.
shit from 5 years ago.
Oh yeah.
That was my big thing. It's like, who the hell? And then remember that Mario guy, that big criminal that was big into
Oh
drugs and
yeah.
shit like that. Like, they were able to talk to him. Like they wouldn't let anybody on on the area or anything like that. But then here comes Netflix, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll talk to you guys."
Oh yeah. That they probably just brought a big old fucking Scrooge McDuck pile of money. Oh, here you go.
Yeah, I don't know. That was my big thing. I was like, who the fuck's making this Netflix doc? Because the one producer wanted to make a reality show, but this is a documentary,
Oh, yeah.
so and shit like that. So that was one of my big things is I was kind of wondering what's Netflix doing here. So
Yeah, I don't know. Unless there were like extra tapes, like in cameras that they didn't account for or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't even theorize from it.
No,
So
it's weird.
Did you have anything else you wanted to ask me about Tiger King?
I mean, we're running pretty long on it, but I think we summed up everything pretty good. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can touch up on it at the end here, but we still have a completely other season that needs to be talked about from a different show.
Oh man.
I'm gonna give you the reins to let you do you now, so go ahead. I'm not gonna say anything until you give me permission to talk.
So, we've been cousins for I guess 22 years because I'm the youngest one. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whenever. Okay, this was stupid. So we always talk about you end up mentioning, oh, my favorite show's Survivor or whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know. You're always trying to get me into watching it, and eventually it took the podcast to get me to do it. But so we've had talks in the past just about you mentioning it, and some of the pros and cons and what your strategy would be, and the entire duration of the show, I had that stuff running through the back of my head because this wasn't really anything I expected it to be. Like, the first day, I remember we ended up playing Call of Duty on the night that I started, and I ended up telling you, I'm like, yeah, I got like halfway through the first episode. I don't know what I was thinking about it, but that's because I was trying to keep it a secret that I actually ended up watching 11 episodes that day.
11 episodes what?
11 episodes that day of Survivor.
That day?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so that's like 10 hours probably, like 8 or 9 hours maybe. Yeah. Okay. It was hilarious. I turned on my Xbox to play some Call of Duty because I'm like, there's no way this is going to be entertaining. And then I was just sitting there, and I never ended up touching my fucking Xbox. I was totally consumed in it. Yeah. And then I finally was like, okay, 11 episodes. This is probably enough for one day.
I need to breathe.
Exactly, yeah. But then I ended up watching, it must have been 12 through 14 yesterday, and then I watched the last 2 today, and it was crazy. So, I don't know if we need to go. I don't know.
We're going to dive into everything. I don't fucking care if we have to cut out shit from Tiger King. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Explaining how the show works? You thinking? I don't know. I mean, just because...
Maybe like a brief rundown. I think everybody... Like, Survivor's like Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy at this point. Like, it's just a big part of...
Yeah.
Our culture. So I think if you want to kind of just do a brief rundown on what the show is, just in case.
Yeah, so this was season 19, and I guess the gist of the show is 20 survivors get like shipped off to some island, and there's 2 teams of 10, and they end up getting like a leader recruited for each team, and then they end up going through a series of challenges each episode to either get some sort of like care package, like it'll be food or tools or something. Or another one of the challenges could be for immunity. So your whole team is safe from, what is it, tribal council for the week.
Yep.
And the other team ends up having to go in. So everybody's fighting, so their butt's not on the line.
Mm-hmm. I mean, basically, it's just you're trying to stay on the show as long as possible, and the way you get off of the show is your tribe gets together and they vote a person off of the tribe, and they keep doing that until there's only one person left in the show, and that one person ends up winning the entire thing. So that's basically the main premise of the whole thing. It's pretty simple, but there's a lot of like strategy and shit that goes into it.
Yeah, because they're all playing for $1 million. I don't know if it changes based on the season, but that's what it was in this one.
It's always $1 million, yeah.
Okay.
That makes me happy. You were scaring me for a while.
Oh yeah, because you're like, no, please don't tell me you hated it.
I was like, you love everything.
Yeah.
If you don't like this, then this must be really bad.
I was going to tell you because it was like one of the episodes I watched. Actually, maybe I don't need to say it yet, but I was planting my own little Russell seed,
Yeah.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is like the first episode, you can tell there's this one guy named Russell, and well, there's two of them. There's a
white one and black one.
Yeah, I didn't want to go that blatant, but yeah. And one of them, the white fella, he's like some oil tycoon from like Houston or something. So he's like, I'm not here for the money. I'm already a millionaire. So he ends up putting everything he's got into winning. I guess what he's mainly looking for is the title of the Survivor. So week to week so the first episode he ends up making these alliances with like basically everybody on his team to say, hey, it's going to be you and me in the final two. And I'm immediately like, how could this go wrong? And then he ends up getting all the girls, and he's like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna call my stupid bitch squad or something like this.
Yeah.
I
don't think it's stupid. I think it's dumb bitches or something.
Yeah, it's something like
dumbass bitches, stupid bitch. That seems a little aggressive. This is my stupid bitch squad.
I mean, dumbass bitch squad, I guess, is pretty bad too, but
yeah, not as bad as you fucking stupid bitch.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm immediately, I don't know, I'm a pretty, I don't know, I'm not aggressive like that. So I was immediately like, I don't really think I like this guy too much. And then once that Marisa gal ended up getting, she had an idea of what was going on, and I'm like, okay.
Was that the first girl that got voted off?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, she's going to put him in his place. But she ended up only talking to him, which was obviously the stupidest fucking thing she could have done. Yeah, so now she just puts a target on her back, and, she's, of course, the first one off because Russell sees her as a threat. And they end up going through the whole season. Russell is literally the only person playing the fucking game. And, like, I don't know if it was the first or second episode, but he ends up getting all his teammates canteens, and he's drinking all of them and pouring the rest out.
Burning socks.
He was just insane. And then...
Yeah.
So the other thing is... Yeah, so the main threat on the show is to, like, you get kicked off and then you fucking lose. So they're always fighting for, like, the team immunity. But I guess I don't really know the rules of the show. But in this season, they have like hidden idols, and if you get a hidden immunity idol, you get to play it at any of the tribal councils, and any of the votes towards you to be voted off don't count.
Yep.
And this motherfucker ends up finding it with no clues or anything. And there's like different checkpoints in the show where people end up getting, these hints towards where the idol is, and they end up going to look for it, and nobody can find it because Russell's got it in his pocket. Yeah, but like, there were a lot of very interesting aspects to the show. You know, he's like, it was insane. I don't know. I didn't actually go through the whole show, but I'm pretty sure 90% of the cast who got voted off was because Russell's like, hey, guys, this guy's a threat. And little did everybody else know, it were a threat to him, not a threat to, like, whatever, a global threat to the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's,
if he didn't like you, he was
you were
sending you off.
Yeah, any sort of threat. It was insane.
Yeah. And then an interesting thing is I don't remember the names of the different tribes because there was 2 tribes at the beginning, but there was the yellow tribe and there was the purple tribe. And the yellow tribe was the one that old Russ was on. And that yellow tribe, time after time after time, kept losing immunity challenges. They kept going to immunity or
the tribal council. Yeah.
So their little tiny yellow group just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then after a certain amount of time, they merge into one group, the purple and the yellow group.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's so shitty to have a small group going into the merge is because for the most part, even though they're one tribe, even though you have one tribe, it's still pretty much the purple versus the yellow crew. So even though you're one tribe, they don't just forget that they just spent half a month with these people. They're like, yep, we just restart. So they went into it with way 5, more majority. Yeah.
And it was 4 on 8.
Yeah, it was something like that. And it looked like the yellow crew was just going to be picked off. But then one right after a fucking another, the purple crew kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where the final 3 members were the yellow. So they started off with 4 or 5.
It was 4.
And they ended with, and then the top 3 were, the top 3 were the top 3 were all from the yellow tribe. So the amount of strategy that was in that season was insane, and it was all behind Russell's, plan to do something. So I think a big thing about it was they were able to get that fucking Shambo looking weirdo on their side. And since the purple tribe treated Shambo so shittily, she was more than happy to switch sides and go over there. And I think that was the big thing that really shook things up there. So, there was just so many little things going on that if they didn't happen, the outcome could have been
that they all
vastly different. It could have been so much different. If they treated Shambo nicely, I don't think that would have happened because they didn't have the fucking numbers to do it.
No, it was excellent. And then I'm thinking about how I need to pace this. No, it's oh gosh, what was another good point?
I thought it was super clutch at the end when they were doing the last immunity challenge and Russell ended up beating that Ben King.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Ben Kid. That was a nail biter.
Brett,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah, Brett, yeah, because they had this challenge where they had like this fucking 15-foot pole, and at the top of it was like a little platform with something balancing on it, and you just had to stand there so it didn't fall. And then you had to keep adding sections to the pole, so the pole kept getting taller and taller. Yeah. I mean, Russ, that Brett kid needed to lose. If he didn't, he would have made it to the top 3, and I guarantee he would have won that season because the entire tribal council, the jury was all basically the purple.
Oh yeah, he was the last purple left, so
yeah,
he definitely would have had the vote because everybody hated Russell. He literally backstabbed everybody.
Everybody. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, going to the end, I guess. I mean, what did you think of the season finale? The winner.
I thought, okay, I had a little speech to myself in the mirror about how badly Russell fucked up. Russell ended up fucking losing to some girl that he had riding his coattails the entire game, right?
Yep.
And basically, I'm pretty sure it was a spite thing, right? They were like, we're going to vote for the girl who did absolutely nothing, and Russell did everything. Because, like, when they got to the end, right, and they end up voting, well, okay, I guess it wasn't that part, but there was an after show where they all, like, met up or whatever after so long, and they're like, you know, they had a little reunion.
Yep.
And they were laughing when Russell heard, you know, that Natalie, which was the girl who ended up beating him, won, right? Like, they did it specifically to say, like, fuck you, Russell. You know what I mean? But I feel like if he, because I know we've had the conversations in the past, which is why I kind of brought it up. Like when we were at Applebee's, you're like, the way I would play the game, I being you in this case, would be to like lay low, right, and then like strike at the end, or it was something like that. Like lay low, don't get any attention on you, and that's kind of how like Brett played. So he ended up like, he didn't make any big risky calls. He was just following the leader, and when it was his time to shine, he won three of the immunity challenges back to back. And but on the other hand, you know, Russ was just this big dog. He was in everybody's face. And another thing you brought up is it's like, it's just a game, right? And Russell, like everybody on the council just chewed into him. And I think if he really made a good case for himself, he like sat down, right, and he just said, guys, we need to remember that this is a game. Okay? I'm here to win. I'm not here to be your friend. And he really sat down and drove it home like, if anybody here deserves the title of the survivor, it is the person who did the best job, which hands down, you cannot argue that it was Russell. Because like, even like they were trying to make a case for Natalie that like, you know, her strategy was really good, just going behind the big dog. But like, without
but Natalie
that,
doesn't even say she did that. She's like, I played the game and everything. She didn't. She doesn't. She said that she didn't ride Russell's coattails at all. So
yeah,
that was my strategy. Like I would specifically say, like, was your God damn it. You're gonna have to.
I know. Yeah, no, I got it.
I said my real name. Oh no! If I'm on Survivor and they're like, Burger, what was your strategy? You didn't do anything. You rode this guy's cock the entire time. I'd be like, yeah, I rode that. That's what I fucking did. I fucking spread my cheeks for Russell and I just let him shove it in my ass. That's exactly what I fucking did there. I'm not gonna sit there like Natalie, but it was my fucking strategy to, be nice to people and treat people with respect. Fuck you, you stupid cunt. You didn't do dick.
Yeah. No,
she didn't do anything. She didn't win any challenges. She didn't do anything to get to where she is today. Russell fucking carried her all the way to the goddamn top. And that was one thing. Why didn't people vote for Mitch either? The third guy.
Mick, yeah.
Mick, everybody forgot about Mick.
Nobody
it's just
touched him.
Yeah, it was like Russell or Natalie. No, Mick and Natalie did the exact same thing, which was absolutely dick. So,
oh, yeah. I'm thinking that the reason why they picked Natalie over Mick was because Natalie was so much closer to Russ, and it would have hurt Russ so much more. You know what I mean? Like maybe, Natalie was in his pocket the entire game. Right?
Yeah.
Like Mick could have at least held his own in challenges and stuff, but like, dude, Russ was like borderline crying after her name was called. I felt so bad. Like,
and then he said that thing like, "I will give you $10,000 if you just give me the title. Like, you keep the million.
Yeah.
Just say that I'm the ultimate survivor. And she's like, no.
Yeah, no, that was fucked up. And then he's like 100,000. And
Yeah.
and then what's the host's name?
Oh, Jeff Probst.
Yeah, and he's like, dude, if you give me 100,000, I'll call you lone survivor for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy, he's pretty cool. He's a nice host.
I love Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when that older gal up at the gallery was like, dude, whenever he says my name, I sweat. And he just looks into the camera and he throws the card away. He's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. He'd make me sweat too. But anyways, no. So you can see why I love this fucking show so much is because of the amount of strategy that goes into it to play it. So with that being said, who do you think is my role model in Survivor, the individual that I love the most out of all the 19 castaways that are there?
I mean, I don't know. See, like, you planted this idea in my head a couple days ago, and I'm like, Russell is obviously one who stands out, but like, strategically, I feel like if Mick played it a little bit differently, he totally could have won. You know what I mean? So it has to be one of the two. I don't know why you really pick Natalie, because obviously, if Russ wasn't such a cock, she had no fucking chance. But I don't know.
Yeah, and I just finished season 4, and there's a girl that looks just like Natalie, little skinny blonde girl that makes it to the final 2, and she actually does not win, but she basically got there for the same thing, just riding like the coattails pretty much. But by far my favorite Survivor contestant, and it's not even close, is Mr. Hands. Russell himself. That is the exact reason why I watched season 19.
Yeah, like the way
that
he
was his
plays,
first ever season.
It's just ruthless. But like in the game sense. But at the same time, I feel like he kind of was, like, the way that he never brought up that it's just a game thing kind of makes me think that he, and the whole stupid bitch squad, makes me think that he is a little bit of that, like, oil tycoon, narcissistic kind of.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a good guy in real life either. You can just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because it's funny, because anytime, like, Russell talks to, like, Jeff or something like that, or to the council, he's, like, so, like, shy and quiet, and he gets those, like, big blue eyes and everything. And like, remember when they did that gross challenge where they had to spin the wheel and eat gross shit?
Yeah.
And Russell had something with milk, and Russell is kind of giggling at Jeff. He's like, I don't even drink milk without all this stuff in it. He looks so cute and giggly and everything like that. And he's like, I call these guys my dumbass bitch squad.
Exactly.
Like, he's burning people's socks and dumping out their water and shit. And everything like that. So I don't really know. I follow Russell on all social media. Russell was the reason why I got back into Survivor, was because I was like, I really wonder if I liked Russell as much as if I really do like him, or if I was just a kid and that was one of those things that you like when you're a kid, like if you go back and you watch Pokemon or something, you're like, wow, this show's really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So I watched season 19, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, I love Russell, and I also love Survivor. So now I'm grinding through all 40 fucking seasons right now. So
yeah, I was thinking I at least want to do like the first 20, because that whole, like, the season 21 sounds really cool, when it's just like all the super manipulative evil people versus all the really
nice,
selfless,
and
good people.
Yeah, it's heroes versus villains, which I have heard is one of the best seasons of all time. So that's what I'm kind of doing. So I started at 19, and I've watched 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I'm on 5 right now. So
okay.
it's funny to start at like you start at 19 and then you go back to 1 and just to see how much the show has changed. It's completely fucking crazy. But yeah, no, that makes me feel good that you liked it. I figured you would fucking like the show. I really, really
Like,
did figure you would like it.
The main thing I'm afraid of is I get so attached to these people, right? I don't know how I'm gonna watch another season. Like,
Yeah, that's the point.
these people are Survivor. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, they're now the norm.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why I was talking about it's so weird to see them put him on a pedestal like that and treat him like a celebrity. It's like, I don't know, like that's just fucking weird to me. Like they deserve it. They absolutely should be treated like that, but it's like you see them broken and dirty and crying and shit in their pants and stuff, and then you see like thousands of people screaming and cheering their name. It's like, I don't know, it kind of changes your perspective a little bit. I always hate watching the reunion show.
What?
I hate it.
You mean
I like
for
to
that
see the
reason?
winner. I like to see the winner, and then after that, I don't like it. It's just like they're like, "All right, Russell," and then everybody's freaking out, screaming. I'm like, "No, I don't like that." Russell was my bae.
I see. Yeah, no, I really
Yeah.
like that. Them, that was the little closure to the season.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to dive into my notes a little bit because we're starting to run short on time here. But,
Yeah.
so I mean, you literally, if you go down,
On our
and
notes.
read my notes, you basically answered everything that I was going to ask you. But, I would jump into a little bit on my strategy because I have auditioned to be on Survivor multiple times now, so I have it all figured out. So,
Okay.
Russell said in his season that someone said, "What traits do you hold near and dear to you
Oh,
in real
yes.
life?" And Russell's like, "Loyalty," and they're like,
Yeah.
you know, Russell, Russell's like a multimillionaire. You don't get to where he is in that business
With
without,
honesty, integrity, and loyalty.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
that's my big thing. It's just, and that's how I would be in this show. So you got my strategy right for the most part, but first and foremost, I would never fucking tell the truth in this game. Never. Not fucking once. And I think people forget about that. Is at the end of the day, it's a game. You're not in real world time. You are in Survivor time. Survivor is its completely different world. There are people that go on there that are like super, super Christian people, and they feel so bad and shitty that they lied to somebody.
Yeah, they're
Like,
not cut
oh
out for
no,
the
what am
game,
I
baby.
gonna do? I lied to somebody. It's a sin to lie. And let me tell you this, guys. I've been a Christian my whole entire life. Whole life. I can't think of a single time that I wasn't a Christian. I even went to a fucking Christian school, and I know that's kind of getting in a little confidentiality information there, but
Yeah.
there's lots of Christian colleges. But I went to a Christian college, and it's something that is super important. It's the most important thing in my life is my faith, and I have no problem saying I would go on Survivor and lie like a motherfucker. I would never tell a fucking truth in there. Do I think lying's bad? Absolutely. You shouldn't lie. It's a bad thing to lie, but this isn't the fucking real world. The Bible's not talking about Survivor. This is a fucking game. It's not real world shit.
Yeah.
So it's like the card game BS where you're supposed to go around and say like I'm putting down 2 2s, and you're trying to put down as many cards as you can without getting caught lying. If people catch you lying, you get penalized for it. It's like the game Mafia, where people are trying to figure out who's in the Mafia and who's a regular townspeople, and people will flat out ask you, Bert, are you in the Mafia? And if you are the Mafia, are you going to say, yeah,
Yup.
I am? Like, oh, okay, we vote Bert out. Okay, we won. That was fun. No, like that's the whole point in video games and board games and movies is to escape reality and to live a life that isn't acceptable in the real world, and you don't get punished for it. So if I get a card that says, Burger, you are the mafia for this round, I am not fucking telling them I'm the mafia. I'm sorry. And I played this game when I was on a study abroad trip with my Christian college, where we would sit in a circle and sing Bible songs together. And then we'd go play this game where you lie, cheat, and steal to one another called Mafia, you know? So, and nobody talked about telling the truth and BS or Mafia or anything like that. But everybody talks about loyalty and telling the truth in Survivor. I mean, and it's stupid, because this is the chance for you to do that thing. Now, you can use loyalty and telling the truth as a part of your strategy.
Yeah.
But don't fucking tell me that this person's a moral monster because they backstabbed you. You're the dumbass for believing them in the first place.
Yeah, it's like they're all emotional voting. I mean, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But another thing is, like, it's also kind of like in the names of the games. It's like BS. It's bullshit, okay?
Yeah.
Survivor. You're going to do what you have to survive. That's like the whole point of the game. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to leave your side exposed for somebody to, you know, stick a little knife in there, you know, you deserve to be fucking sent home.
Exactly. The name of the game is Outwit, Outplay, and Outlast.
Yeah.
And Russell did every single one of those things. He played the game beautifully. Yeah. The only thing he did absolutely terribly was jury management. He was fucking terrible at that. He needed to lie low a little bit and have other people be pissed off at other people, so then they could give Russell some love. You know, and he only needed to do that a little bit more, because I know Natalie won by like a couple of votes or something like that, but you know, Russell did have votes at the end there, so he was close. He was really fucking close.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm getting at, though, is the fact that, you know, that's what I would do. I would lie and I would fucking backstab anybody. My big strategy was I'm going to find the Russell of the group. I'm going to find the leader. I'm going to find the big shot caller, and I'm going to ride his coattails. That's not the most that, you know, you don't have to be very smart to do that. It doesn't take a lot of energy to do that, but it is a strategy at the end of the day. Yeah. And I will admit it. I'm not going to be like Natalie and be like, no, I played this game right. You know, I think I played. You fuck off, bitch. You didn't do shit.
No.
You know what I mean? If she would have said my strategy was to ride Russell's coattails, I think way more respect would have been given to her.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, because it is a strategy to do that. I would ride that guy's coattails to the very end. Until...
She even kind of mentioned that, like, earlier in the show when they pulled her aside to do, like, a little one-on-one with the cameraman, you know? Like, she even kind of said that. She's like, I want to find somebody who can help me and then, you know, underestimate me at the end, and then I'll end up taking him out.
Yep. Exactly.
And she forgot to say that when it counted.
Yeah. But my strategy is to ride that guy's cock or ride that woman's pussy flaps.
There you go.
Until I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, look, lady, look, man, I can't do this anymore. Like, if I keep riding this with you, I will be voted out next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I said. If me and you went on the show, I would like to start out loyal to you. I truly would. And hope that me and you can go as far as possible. But if it get to the point where you were being a cunt bag, or, you know, your athleticism was making us lose games.
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
I would only put up a fight for you unless it helped me at the end.
Yeah.
But other than that, if it ain't helping me out, I'm fucking sending your ass home.
Yeah, you know? What I should expect coming into the game.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, so that's the whole point behind of it. I'm not going to stay loyal to anybody in this fucking game. I'm I came there to play the game, and I wouldn't even tell them what I would do for a living. Because you know what I do for a living,
Yeah.
and I'm just not going to say that. So I was going to go in and be like, "Hi guys, my name's Burger. I'm from this state, and I'm a physical education teacher."
Yeah. There you go.
So they think, I'm a bit athletic, but they also don't think I'm that smart. So, you know what I mean? So they're like, "Hey, he's not a threat. We can use him as a vote." But
Yeah, I don't know why like nobody lied.
yeah,
Like I think
yeah,
Russell could have played that a little differently.
yeah, and it's just funny because like Russell flat out said it's gonna be me and you to the end, and he'd fucking vote their ass out next.
Yeah.
And even Brett at the end, he's like, "I can only hope that Russell stays to his word here and keeps me on." And Russell votes his ass out. It's like, no shit, Russell would be a fucking moron if he did that. But yeah, that's basically what my strategy is I would lie like no other. It's a part of the game.
Yeah.
I'm not staying loyal to anybody. The only time I wouldn't lie, the only time I would stay loyal is if it benefited me. I'm not gonna lie just to fucking lie. That's stupid. I'm not gonna stay unloyal just to stay loyal.
Yeah.
But
Everything is
that's
another rung in the ladder that you're trying to climb to get
exactly. Yeah, and that's my big strategy behind the whole thing. So, other than that, I would like to talk. We can probably talk about Survivor more some other time because it sounds like you'll probably watch some more seasons.
Unfortunately, yeah. Sink another 15 hours.
Yeah, no. So there you have it, guys. Holy shit, that episode flew by faster than any episode we've ever done. I'm fucking amazed we're at an hour 20 almost.
Yeah, I know.
Holy shit. That was Tiger King versus Survivor. I'm pretty sure
Tiger King
Joe
won.
Exotic. Yeah, Joe Exotic would eat the living shit out of Jeff Probst's ass. But they're both very, very good shows, and I would recommend them. I will say this: both shows do not sound good from the outside, but once you get watching them, they suck you in. I told you that was going to happen, Bert.
Yeah.
Like you start off with Survivor, and then you just jump right into it.
I had the controller in my hands the whole time. I was getting ready to go start, and then it's like, oh, next episode where this is gonna happen, and I'm like, God, fuck.
You're like, oh shit. It was so weird because at the beginning, Jeff Probst points at, he's like, "Big guy at the hat, what's your name?" He's like, "Russell," and I'm like, that's so weird that he was a nobody. Like nobody knew who he was. Now everybody considers him like the most notorious. Yeah, he's definitely a legend, and he does come back on Survivor a couple more times. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, he comes on like 3 or 4 more fucking times. It's crazy. So,
okay.
But yeah, other than that though, that was a fun episode. We talked about 2 things that we were super passionate about. So
Yeah.
I don't know how people are gonna like that because they might not like Tiger King or Survivor. So this might be one of our baby episodes. I don't know, but
I don't know.
It's all about us having fun. That was the whole point in starting this show. So
yeah, I suppose if there's any other big things up, that we both need to watch and maybe try this again. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was another thing. I would have never watched Tiger King, I don't think, if it wasn't for this show. And same thing with Burt here. So we will probably revisit this idea again where we force each other to watch a show so we can actually do it, because this was a really good experience. Like I sat there, I'm like, I don't really want to watch Tiger King, but I have to do it for the show. And I think Burt was the exact same way.
Yeah.
So if you guys have more shows that you want us to check out, Burt and I will revisit this idea again soon, because I need a new show to watch now because Tiger King's all done. So we will talk about that again sometime. But thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the official podcast.
Wait a second.
No, Yeah, wrong show. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Burt and Burger podcast, everybody. We truly do appreciate all the love that we have been getting. We actually have a real life guest planned to come on this show, so get ready for that. We don't know when, but they will be on soon. And just remember that we are everywhere that podcasts can be posted for the most part. So be sure to check us out there if YouTube or Spotify is not your forte. So we do appreciate all of that, guys. And we still have a lot more content ready to give to you guys. So stick around for more stupid, fucking retarded bullshit. So,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, do you have any closing words you want to say, Burt?
No, I think I'm good.
Cool. As always, Burt with the man of very little words. So, again, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Burt and Burger Show, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Take care, guys.
Oh, yeah, see you.